Hey, what's going on? So yesterday I was talking to Lala, who is basically the brains of the entire Doc Testosterone now. I'm sort of the body and the heart. No, he's the heart too. But anyway, Lala, or Imran, told me something very, very interesting. And so we've been discussing exactly how to, how this whole thing fits in, right? What is the mechanism? What is the transition from different phases, from Doc Testosterone to what I'm doing now, to what I see in the future? Where is this channel actually headed? And I know that, the big difference between me and Lala is that Lala is a very systems-oriented guy. He's a very, what is the phases? How do things fit in? What are the links? And I'm the opposite of that. I don't look for links or coincidences and karma and all that. I just kind of listen to my inside voice and I do it. Just listen to the heart and do it. Listen to the heart and do it. But it's something very interesting he said. He said, make a video where I convey my feelings about where we've come, where we are, and where we're going. So I'm going to divide it into 3 phases. Phase 1 is the lowest level, right? So think about Doc Testosterone, losing weight, gaining muscle, dating advice, pick up, the whole thing about, psychology and very much, it's practical, but it's sort of low level, right? It's very body oriented. It's not so much decision making or risk taking. It's more, hey, how do you lose weight? How do you boost testosterone? How do you have optimal hair health? How do you do beard stuff, right? It's very low level. It's very superficial, if you want to call it. And over the last 5 months, I haven't made a video, and I've been I've traveled to South America. I lived in Manhattan, I lived in Brooklyn, I lived in Montreal, and now I'm in Toronto. I'm here at Queen's Quay, which is a really nice, it's like, water, and there's people here. It's a Sunday, it's a Canadian Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to all of you who are in Canada. And so this video is about phases. What are the 3 phases of Doc Testosterone? Where are we at now? What kind of content are we going to provide now? And where is the channel headed in the future, right? What is phase 3? So as I said, the first phase was low level. It was more superficial. It was more, with the body, with sort of things that you could do to look better, to look better for other people, to validate yourself, to add things to your life, right? So supplements, and add this food and add that food. Now, in phase 2, we look at how to get the biggest balls in the game. This is like a tentative title that we have. It's probably going to change, but how do you take risks? How do you put yourself in positions that you may not normally be at, right? How do you put yourself out of the comfort zone, right? That's phase 2. How do you take risk? How do you make decisions to enter tribes, right? So if you think about it, I'm this one guy on YouTube who was able to enter the tribe of the fitness community, the entrepreneurial community, the social media community, the dating coach community, right? And I have interviews with all these people. I'm friends with everyone. So how does a guy like me enter the tribe and become the leader of all of these tribes? Like, how do you do that? What is the mechanism behind that? What is the, what risks did I take? How did I meet every single RSD instructor? How did I meet Elliot Hulse? How did I meet everyone that is associated with Elliot Hulse? How did I meet all the entrepreneurs? How did I meet people in Silicon Valley, right? The VCs. How did I get into certain places, like backstage at concerts and just like meeting very famous people? How did I do that? What is the deconstruction of that? Like, what is the deconstruction? What are the cognitive mindsets, attitudes to have in order to put yourself in that position? Sorry if it's windy and you can't hear me super well. I have this Rode mic on top of the camera. I don't have my normal mic on my shirt. But if it's too windy and you can't hear it, I'm sorry about that. But that's phase 2 right now. We are in this phase where we're going to make a lot of videos about how I met every single instructor. And so comment below if you want to hear specific stories about specific people and specific things that you've seen me do on YouTube. And you're always wondering, like, how the hell did this guy become director of Vegas Immersion? How the hell did this guy get on stage at RSD Summit twice? How did he share the stage with all these famous people? You know, this guy's like a science nerd. How did he do all that? Like, what's the mindset? What is the way? What do you do in terms of being aggressive and taking risks and being humble and being authentic and real with all these people? What do you do? How do you establish these close bonds and collaborations with super cool people, like in the fitness community and in the business community? So comment below, let me know what types of content you want to have. So this is phase 2, that's what we're entering. So think of it from a very low level, superficial, you know, alpha male masculinity stuff, and evolving to more higher level, right? Because if you don't take the right risks, if you don't have the right inspiration, there's an airplane like low level just about to take off from the water here. It's beautiful. Wow. If you are not in the right mindset for being inspired or motivated to take those risks, you're never going to lose weight. You're never going to boost testosterone. You're never going to do any of that stuff. You're just going to be lazy. You're going to buy the product and not use it. You're going to buy the book and not read it. You're going to buy the podcast and not listen to it. You're going to do all these things but not actually have the motivation to do them. So as you know, I've interviewed all the famous people, all the celebrities, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, we have a bunch of products for that. But that's basically what phase 2 is. And what I see in the future for phase 3 is super cool and interesting. So check this out. Phase 3 is this thing called choice architecture, behavioral architecture. It revolves the field of behavioral economics, behavioral finance. It is human decision making, because one thing that we realize from all our research and research from all over the world is that our brains are very vulnerable to what is around us at that time. Our minds are sensitive and very prone and biased when we make decisions based on our physical and mental environment and surroundings. So the field of choice architecture is, how do you architect, how do you manufacture your environment to make it conducive to your success, to make it conducive to your quality of life, to improve your life, right? So things like cell phone addiction, things like pornography addiction, things like video game addiction, things like, how do you allow yourself to meditate? How do you put yourself in a certain environment which is spiritual and uplifting for your soul and for your heart? How do you eliminate things from your life to become more minimalistic, to simplify? Instead of adding things like adding supplements, adding these types of foods, adding cars and houses and expensive restaurants and fancy clothes, how do you subtract things from your life? Subtract materialistic possessions. How do you do that to achieve peace of mind? And this field of behavioral finance, behavioral economics is something that I'm super into. Like, my fucking skin is in the game here. And I would go a little bit further and I would say my soul is in this game, right? And the things we're doing, like, making products, like biggest balls in the game is this entire product that we're creating. Another one is this choice architecture product for 66 days, every single day, we will give you an audio recording and videos and books and bonus material of how to specifically configure your physical environment. We're working really hard on all this stuff, and that's going to be phase 3. That's going to come later, because what we've learned from our experience is that if your physical environment is shitty, you're never going to get anything done, because how things are physically around you will reflect things mentally in your brain. And we don't want you to be slaves to the elite, or whatever. We don't want you to be slaves to your work. We don't want you to be slaves to your cell phones, to your video games, to TV, to Netflix. We don't want all that. So we're giving specific videos, specific suggestions on what to exactly do on your cell phone. So for example, on your cell phone, where do you put different apps on screens? How do you use different types of settings in terms of when to get notifications, who to get notifications from? How do you do all that? How do you configure your cell phone to make it conducive to your success? How do you become aware of what Facebook is doing in terms of how they notify you in a variable manner for when you get likes and comments and shares? How do you become aware of that and use that knowledge to not get inundated and immersed in addictive behavior? How do you do that, right? How do you look at what Snapchat is doing with the streaks feature and how they want you to send messages every day so you stay there, the attention economy, so they want all your attention, all your cognitive ability, all that thing immersed in the app so they can make more ad money, right? The one thing with Doc Testosterone that we do with this entire channel is we've never had ads. We've never monetized YouTube because we hate it. So we don't want you to do it, right? You look at Steve Jobs, he never let his children touch the iPad. When a New York Times reporter called him and said, hey, Steve, it was 2 years, the iPad was 2 years old at the time, this was 2012, he said, how does your child like the iPad? He's like, he's never used it. We don't allow that in our home, right? So you look at these technology entrepreneurs, how they understand the addictive nature of technology, and they don't let their children use it, but they have 2 billion people in the world use it, and it's changing the minds of the whole world, right? So because I've already been into that, I've already been addicted to that stuff, now I'm out of it. I haven't been on social media in like 3 months. I changed my diet completely. I'm completely vegan now, and kind of like that minimalist, subtracting meat, subtracting dairy, subtracting eggs, subtracting social media, subtracting, being addicted to cell phones, subtracting all of this stuff, fancy clothes, fancy restaurants, is allowed me to become very focused, very productive, allowed me to focus on content, focus on managing my team, focus on seeing the physical environment for what it is, making real friends, making authentic relationships with people, and meditating and being spiritual and going on Buddhist Vipassana meditation retreats and having one-on-one conversations with amazing people here in Toronto. So if you want to achieve all that stuff, then look for the content that's to come in phase 3. So that's what I wanted to convey to you. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, that's where we're at. And we're very excited. Like, our soul is in the game now. Like, everything I think about all day, every day is, how do I configure my environment? Yesterday I did this 3D printing. I made like a girl and a boy meditating, like, with the fingers like this. And I have that little 3D object on my pillow now. So every night when I go to bed, I see this boy meditating, and that's me. So I meditate for 10 minutes, and then in the morning when I wake up, I again see this little orange boy, 3D shape of a person meditating. So I do that too. And so we want to do that. We want to create physical products to make it easy for you to do things and make the decisions in a way that improve your quality of life. And yeah, man, that's or woman, that's what's happening. And I would love for you to share this with anyone who might be interested, who might gain value from this. Like this. If you like this video, if you like what I'm doing, please comment below. Let us know what you feel about where we've come from and where we're going. And if you have any advice, any recommendations for us to improve our content, improve the value we're providing to the world. And yeah, that's what I have for you. And just some personal information. I've been reading a lot about autism. I'm volunteering at an autism clinic here in Toronto. Just learning a lot about neurodiversity, how every single person is different, how we should appreciate the gifts that are in everyone instead of curing or fixing. Just appreciate the world for what it is, not for what we want it to be. Like, appreciate you for what you are instead of what you would like to be, or your insecurities. Like, appreciate who you are and be happy with who you are. And see the world for what it is instead of what you want it to be. It's really important. I'm also starting an early childhood education program here at a college. I'm going to become certified to teach kids, teach pre-K, kindergarten, nursery school, stuff like that. I love working with kids, so I'm doing that now. Just the last 5 months of soul searching and really digging deep into my soul and understanding what the hell am I all about. And one thing I realized is that we need to evolve from phase 1 to phase 2, and that's what we're doing now. And I'm super excited, like way more excited than I was with the Doc T stuff. And yeah, just way more excited to be Farhan here for you. And yeah, man, just being in the moment and enjoying life for what it is, and being true to insecurities and being true to deficiencies, and just being real, being authentic, being genuine. And I have all my friends and all my close people to thank for that. It's not me, it's just the people around me are super awesome. I just met a friend of mine, just had a coffee with her, spent a couple of hours with her. She's amazing. Learned so much from people like her and other people that I hang out with. So yeah, thanks to all of you who've been with us over the years, and will continue to be with us over the years to come. And would love your advice and your suggestions, and also I'm sorry for any harm that I may have caused in previous videos. I know there's a lot of negativity, a lot of insecurities, a lot of just inauthentic videos and stuff that's not from the heart. So I apologize for that. I'm sorry for all that, and everything from now on, fucking from the heart, man. Super, like, just from the heart. Design your fucking environment to be badass and just provide massive value to yourself and to the world. All right? Peace out. This is Farhan. I'll see you next time, and just get excited for awesome stuff to come. Bye.